Where are you guys from?
Japan.
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
I always say the most important thing for a Pilates instructor is to help your clients. And my job, I'm lucky I get to travel the world and I get to teach, teachers what I've learned through Pilates and how I teach and pass on different tools that I've learned that help. But at the same time, the most important thing is that I work at my studio and I help my clients. So the most important thing is that when a client comes in, you want them to walk out feeling better than when they came in. And I think that's actually the most rewarding thing. I turn on when I have a client who has an injury because then you're able to help them, you're able to make them feel better. I always say that Joseph Pilates' book, Return to Life, could not be titled any better because really Pilates does return people to life, return life to contrology. They come in, they're not able to do things that they used to be able to do, especially if they have some sort of injury. You feel like you can't do anything, you don't feel whole, but Pilates returns that wholeness to somebody. They're able to do the things they used to be able to do. They're able to feel like themselves and they feel part of the world again. So I think that's really the most important thing for a Pilates instructor is to facilitate learning and to help people be people. Yeah. Positive energy, and right now I feel society is very negative, not just here in the United States, but I think globally. And Pilates does create a lot of positivity. Joseph Pilates said perfect balance of body and mind is what creates spirit. And when I don't take spirit in terms of like something holy, but I take spirit in terms of energy. And I think that Pilates can create very good energy because it helps to create balance. And I think the more balance people have in their lives, the better they're able to contribute to their society and to society as a whole. Thank you so much.
Is very simple, willingness to learn. Primarily that it is to help with population health. There are many challenges in both the American society, and they're different than the ones in Japan. But in Japan, there's a lot of challenges with the economy and with the challenges of not having enough sleep, having to work long hours, stressful commutes, and it does take a toll on people's health. There are different health concerns here in the United States than there are in Japan, but still we both have stress in our work life and as adulthood, and but also as we move into our elder years that we want to prevent disability so that we don't cost society. So Pilates is a way that people can be active throughout any stage of life, both when they are quite young, learning it as a teenager, and it has multiple benefits, both mentally and physically, but how it can also contribute to society is that when you take good care of yourself, then you are less of a burden to society, and you are more likely to be able to contribute. And I think that is very important, especially when thinking about Japan.
Qualities of the Pilates instructor is first and foremost is continue on with your continuing education. Okay, so you all get your initial training, and what you need to do with that training is put all of that training onto your own body. It's important as an instructor to not only learn to teach somebody else, but it's your personal journey as well. So Pilates should be with you so that you can age gracefully through life. So take as many workshops, study it from as many people, but put the work on your body. Something that might work for your body might not work for somebody else's, and vice versa. But you must try and continue the own process within yourself so that you have more to give to the people that you are teaching. One thing I often say, one of the things that we do in Pilates is we're always in that elongation, we're trying to elongate our spine. We're trying to fight gravity. So my thing that I say to the world is if we can all fight gravity and not each other, what a greater world we would be in.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a really challenging question. When you look at the schedule in a studio and you see all of the teachers, some are popular, some are empty, some are new, some are old, and it never fits in the exact formula that you think. So I think there's a percentage of knowledge, technical ability, and then there's this percentage of communication, your ability to cue, and then there's this percentage of how do you make the client feel, which I think was Romana's gift. And then there's the unknown, the mystery, which for me is three things. Adaptability, you can change. If you need to change, you change quickly, you change with ease, you don't resist. If there needs to be a change made, you make the change. Empathy, which is maybe the most important. You feel what your client feels. You can sympathize and empathize with what's going on in their body and in their mind. And then I think maybe even the biggest one is faith. If you don't have faith in your clients, if you don't believe in them, they won't believe in themselves. So there needs to be this belief that you can do more, you can do better, you are on your path to be the best possible you. All sessions should end with this uplifted feeling of just, I'm better than I was when I walked in the room. So if you don't have faith in your clients, I think the teaching is not for you. It's really the faith in human potential and this possibility and the next step for this person. And if you can get just a little bit of that done in each session, you will be successful even if you're not a very good technical teacher, because that feeling is what keeps people coming back over and over again. Well, I think we do contribute to society. I think today is a special time in the world because it's so technological. It's very static. People bring their exercise into, a pocket of their day. But Pilates is so human. I always say we come into the studio, there's no electricity. Nothing here has an engine. There's no gas. I don't need to call somebody to repair, our technology. And then, we touch. And for many of our clients, this is the only time someone touches them in a day or a week or in their life. And I think we bring that humanity back that we're losing.
Some touch you mean physically
Just
and
touch.
mentally.
Yes, and mentally. I mean, the mental part for me is, I think, understood, but this moment of human touch is we are losing more and more, a little bit every day with, the world so fast and everything's on the computer. So I know that bringing people back into their body, into their mind, and touching is a huge part of maintaining. I don't know, I think we add, of course, but I think what Pilates does very well is maintaining or, keeping what we're losing, each day, each decade that we get further away from our own selves. So I think that's probably the most important thing is it's quiet time, no phones, me and you, talking, touching. It's,
More real communication.
real connection with another person. Listening without interruption. They say every 11 seconds somebody gets interrupted with a text, a tweet, an email. But for 1 hour or half hour or 40 minutes, you just listen and hear someone and translate and put it in your body and feel. I think it's incredibly important, and we're one of maybe the few industries that provides all of that.
Thank you.
Part of our job as a Pilates teacher is to watch, listen. That's 95% of what we do. And then the other 5% is acting on what you observe. Sometimes we can observe subtle changes in a client that could be the beginning of a disease or a musculoskeletal problem that may have to go on for months or years before they actually go to a doctor. So the secondary thing is that the focus of your teaching is to make your clients independent so that they can learn how to maintain their own body. In other words, don't make them dependent on you. Only say what's necessary, only touch when necessary, okay? Or you start confusing the client. that's an easy one. Have you all read Return to Life? You should read it every year. If you help your clients be happier and healthier in their body, then what they project out to the rest of the world will be more positive. That's, Mr. Pilates said, if everyone did his exercise, there would be no more wars. Yeah, so a lot of that is increasing the self-awareness of the clients. So you have to foster it, but you can't make it happen. The way that I work, which is very much like the old teachers, is you learn a sequence and you do that same sequence every day that you come to the studio. You don't keep changing, because then the client can't use that warm-up or that sequence to feel how their body is that day. It's the same idea of any physical practice, yoga, meditation. It's the same. You go deeper and deeper and deeper. So yesterday when I mentioned clients that say, I'm bored, let's do something different today, they don't understand that they're the one that has to do the work to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's where the satisfaction comes. When you watch someone who's very experienced doing their exercise, it draws you in because of their focus. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
For me, it's curiosity. Always looking and wondering, and never just accepting initiative. Other thing is hard work, but you guys all do that already. It's true. Do you know that Kathy once taught in Japan maybe a couple of times? And I remember her telling me, she said, hold on, let's see if I can remember what she said, she said, when I come back, you guys will be better at this than we are. That's what she said. She did. Because she talked about how hardworking Japanese were. I think that's a harder question. I think the big thing is to not, I always like to say, don't look for what makes us different. Look more for what makes us the same, right? Concentrate less on what makes us different, but really look for the ways that we are similar. I always think of how Kathy and Romana were similar, and like those connections when they were similar, I thought were very interesting. Much more interesting than what made them different. Yeah. So if we can, as a community, keep looking at those things and thinking in a kinder way than being competitive. That's what I think.
I think the most important quality is one of three, that it is nice to be in the room with you as the teacher, instructor, that you facilitate change for the client, and that you know and are willing to learn more. That's really, those three, I think, for me, are the most important. That you're there for the client as well as for yourself. That you facilitate the knowledge that you have for the client and for the client's change, and that you keep learning. You will always run into a problem because I don't know how to fix that or how to work with that. Then you have to think. Then the process that we talked about today will help you where you can look for change. Because now you have a process that helps you to teach with a clear intent, where you can observe, where you apply, where you redirect with your client. And that when you have no information, that you can look at where the load is coming into the body, where the tension is not growing or sustained. And so you might have to look for another development and deconstruct what it is that you are doing with the client, and therefore find a different path for a period of time to come up to the exercise. So, because there's a lot of people that help you sustain your energy during the day, as well as running a business, being a mother and a father, but being a Pilates instructor as well. So I feel it's a very holistic sense of being in the world that is about contribution, but as well about receiving. Because what you get back, what I got back today from you guys, is amazing. You know, that sustains me. Can we cut that out for a second?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, but it's true. There's so much happening, and there's such an amazing energy that keeps coming out, that if we don't acknowledge that, even in private and preferably not on camera, then you can do something with that. And you go on and you develop and you feel that you have that contact with that person or with the other people or contact with yourself. So for me, it's a very real, energetic passage every day that is about if I can sustain my energy in the moment and realize who that person is in front of me, even if I don't know them, then there is a real exchange, an exchange of quality of life, honesty, call it love, I don't care. But it is there and you can use it, and it makes you and the person grow. And I think that is really the contribution that happens if you stay in the moment. So if you fill in your time well, you give to yourself. If you do not look at your own time as valuable, you do not give to yourself. And therefore you don't give to your clients. Yeah? So for me, that's where I try to live most, is time value, energetic, and then things will fall in place. I've had a business for 20 years now. I've danced. I do what I love, so the rest will fall in place. But I do value my time. That's why it was fabulous to be here today. Thank you.
Second.
Cheers! To absolutely fabulous meeting you guys.
heart, curiosity, a stubbornness about not giving up, taking for granted a good intelligence about the fundamentals of what you're working on, a sense of playfulness, and if you can't have fun doing it, don't do it. Some of you have had babies, or have little ones, or maybe you've had cats or dogs. These bodies are animals. Animals play, love to move. Be an agent to free that person into their own animal nature. Don't be afraid to be creative. That's enough. Well, ask them, what do they look for in a teacher? Ask themselves. Every teacher you see is tremendously valuable. And they all do Pilates differently, and so do you. Nobody does it the same. And you need to celebrate that and just dig in. You all seem wonderful to me. It's such a small world when we get together. The only barrier is language. Of course, these questions that you ask are your primary questions for yourself, which is why you're asking them. And if you've been born an introvert, your work will be more and more giving to the world, to the outer world, and maybe something that manifests, whether it's a method or a place, technique. I would say the best thing you can give to this world is to grow yourself as fully as you can. That's your gift to the world. The degree to which you get that done. And I'm 90, and I must have a lot to grow still, because I know I'm still coming into my body, and I have a little more chance now to let it happen, because I had an awful lot of energy that could make it happen, and that's not good enough. It has to be allowed to happen. Allowing something to happen is the feminine way. Making it happen is the male way. And women are very male in that regard. So I don't think there is a way. There is your way. There's many ways to do Pilates as there are people doing it. That's one thing I said in a keynote in England. And you cannot be anybody but yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. So that's it. And then if you thrive, it's going to spread. It's going to be infectious. You'll find that out. You're finding that out already, every day. Yeah.